Happy New Year, everyone! It is officially 2024, so welcome to 2024. I'm Mel, the host of this channel, and this is Annie Mel if you haven't been here before. And today we're going to dive straight into winter 2024 anime, what's on my watch list, and kind of like where I rank things and how excited I am about the anime that's coming out this winter. Let me get these out of the way because then I'm going to be distracted the whole video. Alright then, winter 2024 anime. The first one that I'm most excited about is Solo Leveling. If you haven't read the manhwa for it, please go check out my video that I released at the end of or mid-December to get a sense as to what Solo Leveling is about. I'm not going to tell you much about Solo Leveling in this specific episode that I'm filming right now, but what I will tell you is based on the trailers and the characters that have already been introduced, I am estimating that we are going to roughly have 25% to 30% of the entire story animated in season 1, since we're getting number 1, 24 episodes, and number 2, I am under the strong impression that the very first episode is going to be an hour long or an hour and change. For those of you who have read the manhwa, I think this is probably the best approach, considering how the story opens up. So if there are roughly 180 chapters, then we could likely see 60 plus something chapters get animated this season. Next on my list that I'm most excited to see is Yubisaki to Ren Ren, or A Sign of Affection when translated into English. Before I go into the synopsis of Yubisaki to Ren Ren, the reason I love it so much, or A Sign of Affection, is because 1, it's a romance, and you know me, I love romances. 2, the 2 main characters are adults, so they're within your high school years, which I appreciate because it's really hard watching romances when they're in high school. At this point in my life, it's just not as relatable anymore. The third factor is that I really love that it's not a super cliched romance story. I feel like it naturally evolves the whole aspect of their romance. It doesn't feel like it's over dramatic. And for some people who really like that over dramatic type of romance drama, this may not be for you. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But if you like something that's more wholesome and probably a more realistic relationship, A Sign of Affection does that well. And the last thing that I really love about this is that it displays a different group of people within this anime. Now, what do I mean by a different group of people? Let me dive into the synopsis then. So Yuki, who is our main character, is hearing impaired. She uses a hearing aid, but she usually uses JSL, which is Japanese Sign Language, to communicate with others. Or she'll read lips and then sign or write so that people who don't know sign language, she's still able to communicate with them. Yuki ends up bumping into Itsuomi, who is the other main character, on a train one day, and he tries to communicate with her saying like, oh, I'm sorry for bumping into you, but clearly she doesn't understand due to the fact that either his lips are hidden or his lips are moving too fast for her to read. When he finds out that she's hearing impaired, he kind of takes a different interest in her, but mostly her world, considering that this is a world that he's not really familiar with. And some back context on Itsuomi is that he is very well traveled, likes to learn about other cultures, and he's a polyglot. If you don't know what a polyglot is, it means someone who speaks multiple languages. And I think naturally someone who's a polyglot is very interested in learning other languages so that they can connect with other people. So with that, you could kind of get an understanding that Itsuomi finds a great fascination in Japanese Sign Language and takes an effort to kind of learn to build a connection with Yuki. And with that, romance evolves. But aside from the storyline itself, I just really love the fact that this is going to bring, I guess, some sort of awareness to audiences who don't really interact with the hearing impaired community. And it also gives us some insight more from Yuki's perspective, what it is like to be hearing impaired and what her life is like. And it really displays like her day-to-day and some of the challenges that she goes through and how she kind of has to go about things to overcome them. This next anime is said to be coming out within January. However, I've not seen the release date yet. If I get the release date before this is released, I'll probably post it somewhere down below with a date. But as of now, I have no release date. This anime is called Monsters. If you're a One Piece fan, then you already know what this is going to be about. but Monsters is a one-shot created by Eiichiro Oda sensei, and it is kind of like one of the few, if only, one-shots that Oda created before One Piece that is directly linked to the story of One Piece. Now, if you've never heard of Monsters before, but hopefully you watched One Piece, Monsters' main character is Ryuma Shimotsuki, who is from Wano and a direct ancestor of Zoro, one of the main characters of One Piece. Within the story of One Piece, Ryuma is known to be a very legendary swordsman who has the nickname of Sword God, and no one really knows how he garnered such infamy. And while I haven't read the one-shot for Monsters, what I do surmise is that we'll get to know as to why Ryuma is so famous in Wano, why he's called the Sword God, and why his weapon Shisui is a national treasure of Wano. Since the manga is but a one-shot, which is basically like a chapter of perhaps 60 to 80 pages, it really varies, we're probably only getting one episode. And I think it's been stated that we're getting just one episode. So I'm really curious as to whether this will be an hour long, if this will just be 30 minutes, and how much will it add to One Piece's overall story. Classroom of the Elite Season 3 is out already. I may have talked about this in some of my previous videos, so I would say please go back and check some of my previous videos, I think winter 2023, to get a synopsis on Classroom of the Elite, but very short and quick. It's a school that kind of prepares you for life to some extent, where how you grade and where you're placed in certain classes determines the level of success and placement you'll get in the real world after you're done graduating from this high school. Most of the students' objectives who are not in Class A is to get to Class A, and there are different types of class activities or tests that students must partake in that are oftentimes very strategic. In previous seasons, Ayano Koji, who is our main character, has gone out of his way to kind of antagonize other classes, inclusive of Class C for the most part. By the end of Season 2, he's attracted the attention of Class A's class rep, and it looks like they may be going to war in Season 3, but not so fast. Class A seems to have taken an interest in other class at this time to make sure that they take them out before they come after Ayano Koji. There's not much going on in the trailer to get a real sense as to what's going to be going on in Season 3, but I think that's part of the whole allure of Classroom of the Elite. There's a lot of scheming, a lot of mystery, and a lot of suspense to understand Ayano Koji, just because he's an extremely mysterious character, and at times he seems very nice to others, but in reality, he's always looking to gain something out of favors that he gives to other people. But if you've never seen Classroom of the Elite, I'll sum it up real quick. It's an extremely strategic show where you find yourself engulfed by what's going to happen next just because Ayano Koji is not an easy to read character. There are a lot of plot twist moments that occurs in the show, and I will guarantee you'll never know what's coming next. Some of the anime that I have left on this list are because I've started watching them and I'm just kind of curious to see where they're going, or I'm curious as to see where the hype is. For example, Blue Exorcist. I have never seen Blue Exorcist up until like December 2023. Full disclosure. And I binged the first 2 seasons, and I've got to say that I don't know what people are excited for. I'm going to check out Season 3 to understand what people are excited for. Aside from the fact that Blue Exorcist has been paced out in a funny way just due to the fact that they were lacking manga material. So for example, Season 1 aired in 2011. Then Season 2 aired in 2017, 2018. Now we're getting Season 3 8 years later. And the crux of the story is that our main character, Rin, is the spawn of Satan, but Satan killed his adopted father, so now he wants to seek revenge. So it feels like a very classic shonen story where child is born with supernatural abilities and they want revenge on their father or revenge on somebody else, and now they're learning how to use their abilities throughout the storyline as we try to see him accomplish the goal of killing his father. I think that's the shortest way for me to explain this to you, because it is as it sounds. It's exactly that, and there's nothing more. What I am interested to see is that while Rin is the spawn of Satan, he was also born with a twin brother, Yukio, who is this top brass exorcist within Blue Exorcist. And he kind of like looks down on his brother a little bit because his brother has these demon abilities and he was never born with them. But at the end of season 2, he started to display these powers that he inherited from his father, or that Rin inherited from his father. And Yukio is doing so much to reject that part of himself that I'm really curious as to what will happen to his character story. I feel like it's been a while since I've seen this last one, which is Tsukimichi, a Moonlit fantasy. I think that's how you say it. And I'm mostly watching it for the comedy, because it's another isekai, but I kind of like this isekai because it's a little bit different. Yes, I know I released a video saying how much I cannot stand the isekai genre anymore, but if you watch it till the end, I do let you know that there are a few out there that I still enjoy and kind of watch. So if you've never heard of Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy, I think we're gonna say Moonlit Fantasy to keep things easy, is about a story, Makoto, who gets not really reincarnated, but more like taken into another world because his parents are actually originally from another world. And his parents made a contract with the goddess of that world that they would give up their most valuable thing at some point in their life. So their most valuable thing or person is their son. So he gets basically taken from his world to another world where he must be the hero. But unfortunately, the goddess of that world says, hey, you're kind of ugly. I don't know if I really need you. So you're no longer the hero for this world. I'm not gonna bless you with anything. Bye. And shifts him off to the other end of the world where all of the demi-humans and like monsters live. And from there, it's kind of like a comedic story of Makoto just trying to travel through this land to see if he can get back to his world or just survive in the current world that he's in. It turns out that he's still quite a heroic character. However, even if he wants to help humans, because he's so ugly, humans kind of think that he's a monster or a demi-human in himself. I'll be real with you, the plot isn't very strong. Again, I'm here for the comedy, so I won't rank this anime high. That's why I'm kind of mentioning it at the end of my list. But if you're looking for a good laugh, Moonlit Fantasy got you covered. And the last one that I've got on my list that I will be watching, but I'm gonna see how far I go with this, only because when I first started watching Mashle, I was like, oh, this is quite funny. Where's the plot? Yes, there is a plot, but I don't know, there's just something off about it. And it didn't take me until the end of the show to realize that, okay, this is one of those parody type of shows. I'm not really gonna get any strong substance and drama from this show, because there are moments that should be absolutely so serious, but then there's just this larger comedic relief that comes right after it. And it's like, you defeating this guy right now just feels very abysmal because you're all just being like weird now. And you're just like, I don't even know how to explain it. I don't even know how to describe it. All I can say is that if you watch Mashle, enjoy it for what it is, which is the parody. That's my long lesson of Mashle. But if you haven't seen Mashle before, real quick synopsis, it's about a boy who wants to become the divine visionary of the magic world, but he is one of the only characters without any magic. But he must conceal his identity because people without magic in his world are looked down upon. And if they find him, they will likely kill him. So his identity has been hidden for a long time by his adopted father or adopted grandfather. But he is kind of forced into this situation where he needs to join this school to become a divine visionary in order to save his adopted grandfather's life. And it's just the mishaps of a lot of quirky adventures. I feel like between Mashle and Moonlit Fantasy, if you're looking to laugh this winter 2024, I would check those out, but don't get too heavily invested. If there is some anime that I may have not mentioned that is coming out this winter 2024 that you think is worth me checking out, please post in the comments below so I can check them out. However, that's gonna do it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, please check out some of the other videos on my channel because I'm sure you'll enjoy them much more. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, since solo leveling is coming out this winter 2024, make sure you check out my solo leveling video. I give you a breakdown as to what you should know before watching the anime. But that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much as always. I appreciate all of your support. I'm Mel, the host of this channel, and I will catch you all next time. Bye.